concerning the theme of curiosity and the desire to expand horizons and reach the arms of humanity to grasp strange and distant notions, there is no more appropriate field of study to discuss than astronomy. Curiosity and the need to classify and understand the world drives the birth and progression of any science, and there is no concept as universally entrancing as astronomy and the study of objects faint and distant. I believe that it is a shared human experience in modern times to be captivated by images such as these. Nothing has ignited an inextinguishable flame of passion and perspective in humans throughout history more than gazing outward beyond the familiar and into the deep, and resting our eyes upon that which we can see but never reach. To let the weight of the bustling game of life lighten for just a moment, and to listen intently to the quiet hum of the cosmos as it plays its grand symphony. Rather than discuss curiosity's influence on our understanding of the universe in a historical timeline, why not start close to home and move outward for the sake of perspective? Outside of the reaches of our sun and the surrounding solar system, our closest neighbors are the Alpha Centauri triple star system and the red dwarf known as Barnard's star, just a handful of light years away. In 1916, Edward Barnard discovered the small star, around 15% of the size of the sun, and noted the fact that it had the highest apparent motion of any known star, bolting across the night sky at a rate that was noticeable year by year, as demonstrated by this series of images. Moving outward still, interesting objects beyond our stellar neighborhood, but still contained within the confines of our galaxy, such as nebulae and star clusters, have been observed with immense fascination by humans throughout history. Legendary French astronomer Charles Messier cataloged these objects, along with distant galaxies, in the highly influential Messier Catalogue, published in 1774, containing 110 objects. Messier was inspired to create a list of the brightest and most fascinating astronomical objects, and included objects visible to the naked eye, such as the Andromeda Galaxy and the Pleiades star cluster, as well as more distant objects, such as the colossal Messier 87 elliptical galaxy, which contains several trillion stars, and is the galaxy from which we captured our first image of a black hole in 2019 with the Event Horizon Telescope Array, a supermassive black hole spanning over 2 trillion miles wide. Despite the vast size of the black hole, the incomprehensible distance of the object made photographing it the equivalent of photographing a tennis ball placed on the surface of the moon. At the time of Messier's endeavors, the concept of galaxies beyond our own was completely unknown, and all faint smudges of light were classified as nebulous. The curiosity of astronomers has fueled endeavors from cataloging hundreds of faint objects to photographing extremely distant black holes. In the last 100 years especially, our understanding of the vast scale of the universe and our small part in it has been revolutionized. During the first half of the 20th century, Edwin Hubble made discoveries that completely disproved the widely accepted notion that the universe consisted entirely of the Milky Way galaxy, demonstrating that there are countless galaxies up to billions of light years beyond our own in complex galaxy clusters. So, throughout the last century, curiosity quite literally broadened our horizons, from the galaxy that we find ourselves in to a rapidly expanding universe containing countless galaxies up to tens of billions of light years away. Outside of curiosity broadening our visible horizons and our understanding of the scale of the universe, the curiosity and ambition of astronomers, mathematicians, and many others key to outer space missions have broadened the list of territories to which humans have sent technology and where human beings themselves have stood, with the first major milestone of this stage in human history being the Sputnik 1 satellite launched by the Soviet Union in 1957. Sputnik 1 was Earth's first artificial satellite and was the beginning of a complex and ongoing journey of humans sending satellites into Earth's orbit, as well as to distant celestial bodies for photography and research, and even beyond the solar system. In 1977, the famous space probe Voyager 1 was launched, making flybys of Jupiter, Saturn, and Titan, eventually becoming what is now the most distant man-made object from Earth, outside of the reaches of the solar system, at over 15 billion miles away. The other spacecraft of the Voyager program, Voyager 2, was also launched in 1977 and has since also traveled beyond the reaches of the solar system and is currently in interstellar space. The spacecraft was sent on a flight path that took longer to reach the planets but eventually made up-close and personal flybys of the planets Uranus and Neptune in the 1980s, capturing some of the most iconic photographs of the planets to date. Although a much more local pursuit compared to the distant and exotic voyages of our unmanned Voyager space probes, one of the most thrilling frontiers of the modern age is that of manned space exploration. The first manned spaceflight took place on April 12, 1961, when Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin completed an orbit around the Earth aboard the Vostok 1 spacecraft. Of course, the most iconic instance of space travel took place during the Apollo 11 mission of 1969. The Americans traveled almost 250,000 miles to a small, dusty world and stepped out of the lunar module, planting their feet on the dark, gray soil, marking an absolutely unprecedented moment in humanity's history of adventure and curiosity. There have been 9 total manned missions to Earth's moon, some as missions orbiting the moon, and some touching down on the surface with humans setting foot on the neighboring world. The ambition to explore continues into the current day, with a desire to reach more distant destinations, such as Mars, becoming more realistic every day. Throughout history, humans have gazed upward at the bejeweled night sky as it loomed silently overhead, filling endless millions of onlookers throughout history with awe and fascination. This curiosity has fueled ambition in astronomers throughout the centuries, from the first star catalogs to those who gazed through the first telescopes, to the first astronauts being strapped into rockets bound for the previously impossible, broadening the horizons of humanity as a collective and humbling the individual with the perspective granted by these understandings. Thank you.